When we moved here in '74, we had sheep and Angus cows. But my wife and I had met at the University of Edinburgh, Scotland. And so when the boys came along and they were old enough to travel, we took them to Scotland, and we kept running into these Highland cows and thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to have one or two of them? But the horns are pretty intimidating. So I thought, well, we'll just get one pregnant cow and see how we go, you know. 3 years later, when we had the meat from the offspring, that was that. It was the best meat I'd ever tasted in my life. And so within a year after that, all the Angus were gone, and we were in the Highland business. The one thing that serious ag people would tell you is the worst thing that you can do is change the diet of an animal. That is the most stressful thing that you can do. That's stress on a cow, and that's not good for meat. Leaving them alone to a large degree, I think, is the secret to a happy cow. They'll take care of themselves. These are browsers. I mean, remember they evolved in Scotland, in the Highlands, where particularly in the winter, the feed is very poor. They actually prefer leaves over grass. I've seen them walk through shin-high grass to get to a fence line that has little alders or whatever in it, and then they'll strip it. So they, naturally clear land for you. They do. If you look at our meat, it is deep, dark red, and that proves that it's grass-fed and grass-finished. If your meat is pink, like most Angus meat is, that's because not only is there fat in the rind around the piece, but also and marble through the piece, but the muscle itself has fat in it. That's why it's pink. Whereas in our animals, it's less than 10% fat. And if you saw a picture of a carcass, you would see that what fat is on the outside of the carcass is that yellow buttery fat, not the hard white sticky fat that comes from feedlots. So if you allow an animal to be raised all its life on grass, never grain, never potato peels or whatever else they feed in feedlots, you're going to get that deep, dark, rich, flavorful meat. The nutritional benefits of this breed, it's the lowest in cholesterol of any meat, including chicken and turkey. It's the highest in iron, the highest in protein, and what cholesterol or fats it does have is the good fat. It's not the fat that clogs your arteries. If a threat comes into the field where the herd is and they have calves, they'll bunch up just like Africa, and they'll push the calves to the center of the bunch, and then the alphas will go meet the threat. When the bunch up starts, yes, they're talking. When the bulls come out to meet the threat, they're not talking. But this breed, you leave them alone to a large degree. We don't mess with them. We want them to have all their natural protective instincts. We want them to forage the way they naturally do. Over the years, it is really gratifying to look at animals in our herd that were born here, and to see that we are, in fact, making good decisions when it comes to putting breeding animals back in the herd, or making good bull choices to come and be part of the herd. That's a long view gratification, because it takes years and years to get there. Our neighbor, who we buy the haylage from, but we were talking the other day, and he says, your animals are just bigger than they used to be. And I said, yes, they are. Thank you very much. We worked really hard at that.